Original story. I'm 15F and my father is 46M. My dad left the family when I was 7 without any explanation. He just vanished one day and I've never seen him since. He left because of relationship issues with my mom. She was heartbroken and waited 5 years for him to return, but in the end, filed for divorce. Thankfully, she's over him now. To be honest, now 8 years after he left, I barely have any memory of him. Only some resentment for the years of suffering he put my mom and sister, 19F, through. They tried to contact him, but he'd never respond. I can't remember his voice, personality, or even face much. Last week, he texted my mother and said he wanted to meet after 8 years of disappearance. My mom agreed. We arranged a meet-up at a nearby restaurant. My sister was so nervous excited, but I realized I felt nearly nothing. He arrived, and my mom and sister started crying. He cried too, at the sight of his beloved daughters. He saw that I looked quite emotionless and said, "Don't you miss your dad?" I replied honestly that I didn't remember him. He left so long, it's like I barely knew him. He was so shocked and hurt. Eventually, he cut off our meet-up early, claiming he had to work. My mom and sister were so mad, they blamed it on me. My mom said that my sister's been waiting to see her dad for so long, but I had to make a stupid remark and make him leave a second time. Asking how I could behave like this toward my dad. Telling me that I'm a selfish idiot. I'm sorry that he cut the meetup short, cause I knew my sister missed him so damn much. But to be honest, I don't feel bad for saying the truth. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. If he's going to leave again because his daughter told him the truth, they're better off with him gone. Exactly. If his response was anything but apologetic when you said that to him, then he's still a loser. You're better off spending time with people who want to treat you well. Not the idiot. Right? He should have apologized profusely instead of calling her selfish. He's the selfish one. Not the idiot. OP's reaction is completely normal and warranted, and anyone expecting anything else can only be disappointed. Honestly, after all those years, I wouldn't call her unreasonable if she doesn't want to see him as her dad. OP's dad left when she was 7 and met her again at 15. Which means she spent more than half of her life without him there. He left before any lasting memories of him can be formed and only returned when OP's character personality had been fully solidified. Basically, he wasn't there for any event that OP can remember clearly or can impact her life or as a person significantly, so far. It's no wonder why she doesn't remember him. I found it less surprising than the fact that her dad still expects a warm welcome after 8 years and all their struggles. Honestly, OP's reaction is the least surprising, suspicious, or concerning thing about this whole encounter. Dad's response and mom Sis's reaction was way more eyebrow-raising. I mean, seriously. First, about the dad, why did he, after 8 years of giving zero craps about his wife and daughters, asking for a meetup? His beloved daughters, it's almost like he had no contact with them for nearly a decade. I feel like he only came back because he wants something from OP's mom and is trying to manipulate their kids into letting him back in so he could get what he wants. It's pretty obvious if he genuinely cared about bonding again or repairing his relationships, he would have apologized and certainly would not get mad at OP for her reasonable reaction. Second, OP's mom and sister's reactions. If the mom is A, crying over dad leaving again, and B, shifting blame to OP instead of holding dad the one truly at fault accountable, I don't think she's over her ex as OP thought. She waited for 5 years before accepting the truth and moving on with her life. There's clearly very, very deep-seated issues here, and they haven't been addressed, much less resolved. Not the idiot. You're the selfish one? He walked out with no explanation when you were only 7 and shows up 8 years later, thinking everything is going to be all okay, and yet you are selfish for not remembering him? I'm in shock. I am even more shocked that your mom and sister are with him on the playing happy family in a sense, rather than ripping him a new one for what he did. Edit. Someone made the very good point that the dad was gone from OP's life longer than he has been there. It makes total sense that he wouldn't be remembered. Yeah, poor little old dad, how could his daughter not remember and miss him after he abandoned his family when she was 7? Not the idiot. Update. Hi. It's me again, but now I'm 1 year older. And a bit wiser, I hope. It's been a few months since I initially posted, so here's an update on how my life's going. First, I no longer feel bad about making my dad leave the meetup since he somehow reconciled with both my mom and sister. Here's how it happened. In mid-April, he came to our house to see my sister on her birthday. He bought a ton of gifts and said a lot of sappy words, which of course, won my mom and sister over. He tried to talk to me calling me his darling baby and precious little girl. However, when he realized that I truly did not see him as a father, he left. In June, he visited again. I confronted him and asked why he suddenly wanted to be so involved in the family. After leaving for 8 years. He said that he never forgot about us and always felt so guilty about leaving. That he needed to see us again because we were the most important people in his life. I demanded to know why he left then. His exact answer was, "Baby, when I was in a relationship with your mom, things got difficult. Things like that happen in relationships and daddy needed a break. It doesn't mean daddy doesn't love you." I thought it was utter crap. I said, if you needed a break, you could have talked things out with mom. You could have even filed for divorce. But instead, you walked out and left without a trace like a damn coward. He tried to convince me that I wouldn't understand these kinds of things, but I wouldn't hear him out. He dodged my questions and eventually got so frustrated that he left again. In July, which is my birthday month, he visited on my birthday. In a very passive-aggressive manner, he said he wanted to take my sister and mom out to a restaurant to catch up with daddy. My sister asked, "You are not taking her, me, too?" He responded, "My name is very temperamental with daddy, can you tell her that daddy loves her? She won't understand." I find it very weird and slightly disturbing that he is still talking to us like we're little kids, despite me being 16 and my sister being 20. My sister and mom were hesitant about leaving without me, but eventually, they went. They came home to celebrate my birthday with me, but I still thought it was hurtful they went in the first place. Our family hasn't heard from my dad all August, despite my sister trying to reach out to him. Of course, they are putting the blame on me for giving him the cold shoulder. By the way, I'm so thankful to all the commenters. If it weren't for them, I'd probably be still feeling guilty and sad. Have a great day. They went out with him. Without you. On your birthday. That's cold. On her 16th birthday on top of that. Mom doesn't sound much more than dad. And the older sister is 20 yet pulling this crap. There's something seriously wrong with your father. I'm so sorry. I hope you have support and counseling. I think there's something seriously wrong with her mother that the woman can take her other child and went to dinner with an ex-husband who walked out on her years ago on her daughter's birthday. She left birthday daughter behind by choice, father didn't make her do it. That blows my mind. This woman is literally choosing to side with the man who ruined her family rather than the daughter who is, rightly so, struggling to form a bond with a man she barely knows. This speaks volumes that her mother never got over her husband leaving her, that her mother is more desperate to stay on this man's good side than protect her own child, and that her mother probably will not stand up for her in any way if her father were to return to their family. Her mother is a piece of work and everyone is just blaming the father. Your dad is manipulative and abusive. He is gaslighting the family. It is sad your mom and sister are falling for it. He will disappear and try to blame you. He is never at fault. Correct. He is now angling for something. Either he wants a signature from mom, or mom has a relative about to kick the bucket. He has an ulterior motive. Something has happened to bring him back into your life. My 27F fiancé, 31M, is short. His height has always been a source of insecurity for him, and he takes others' comments too seriously. With our wedding approaching, he asked if I'd consider wearing flat shoes at the wedding. I was confused, like very confused. I asked if he was joking, but he went on a rant about how doesn't want to be made fun of at his own wedding, and that if I choose to wear high heels, then we will look awkward in the photos and in front of the guests. I refused and he kept calling me selfish and inconsiderate and said that I prioritized a pair of high heels over his comfort and happiness for the big day. He had his mom involved and she is pushing me to reconsider. When I refused to discuss it, she said that my unwillingness to cooperate is a huge indicator of my level of maturity. She then went on a long rant about what lengths real wives are willing to go to help out their husbands and said that I'm apparently too immature and shallow to be committed in a marriage if I make such an issue out of it. Am I being selfish? It's not just about what I want, but the high heels help make the wedding dress look better, and I feel like I deserve to look my best at my own wedding just like every bride's dream. His insecurity is preventing me from getting that. Am I the idiot? PS to clarify. I'm slightly taller, but he said he doesn't want me to look any taller than that. The guests he was talking about are his male friends and the men in his family. They comment on his height all the time and call him names from Shorty, Cola, Lil D, Hobbit, and the list is long. They even have a list of jokes about him. As I said, I'm slightly taller and he doesn't want me to be any taller. We had similar arguments about this height issue before, but this is the first time he asks me to not wear heels. Other times he lets me wear them, but sometimes refuses to attend events with me. Does he know there are men's dress shoes with built-in discreet platforms for just this sort of situation? Some friends of mine took this approach for their wedding because the groom was short. He should look into those. Not the idiot. I don't think you should have to look less than exactly as you want to on your wedding day. Everyone is the idiot here. Look, I do agree with you that you should look and feel your best, but that's equally true for your fiancé. It's not like his insecurity is a shock to you, you knew about it. Practice being a partner and talk about it, communicate, and think of ways to help like standing up for him if you hear a comment, kicking some jerk out, etc. But him running to his mom? Look. Everyone deserves to have a support system, and a close relationship with a parent is not bad. But having mommy lecture your future spouse is always a red flag. He needs to grow up. Think about if you want her lectures for the rest of your life when you disagree. Not the idiot. What real wives are willing to do? Like a real man who gets his mama to fight his battles for him? Yeah, shows great maturity.